Have you ever wished your garden could take care of itself? Imagine walking outside one morning after a light rain. No weeds, no dried out soil, no piles of old mulch to haul away. Just a lush living carpet of green that protects your plants, feeds your soil, and fills the air with the gentle hum of life. What if I told you that you could achieve all of that by simply scattering 2 kinds of seeds, and never worrying about mulching again? For years gardeners have believed that mulching was the secret to a healthy garden, but nature had a better plan all along. There's a living alternative that's easier, cheaper, and far more beautiful than anything that comes in a bag. And today I'm going to show you exactly what it is. Welcome to Timeless Gardening, where we let nature do the hard work, and we simply enjoy the results. If you love learning how to grow more with less effort, how to create beauty that lasts through every season, then make sure you're subscribed. Give this video a thumbs up, and let's dive into the 2 seeds that can replace mulch forever. For generations gardeners have been taught that mulching is the gold standard of soil care. We spread bark chips, straw or composted leaves, thinking we're protecting our plants. But the truth is, mulch isn't always the friend we believe it to be. Beneath that thick layer, something happens that most people never notice. The soil can't breathe. The microorganisms that keep it alive start to suffocate, and over time the very thing we use to protect our gardens begins to starve them instead. When mulch breaks down, it steals nitrogen from the soil, the very nutrient your plants need most to grow strong and green. Instead of feeding the roots, it feeds itself. The result? Slower growth, yellowing leaves, and a garden that feels constantly hungry no matter how much fertilizer you add. Then come the pests. Mulch provides the perfect hiding place for slugs, earwigs, and even termites. It traps moisture in all the wrong places, turning your garden beds into a breeding ground for rot and disease. And when summer heat hits, that same mulch layer can lock in too much warmth, cooking delicate roots below the surface. And of course the biggest problem of all, it never ends. Mulch breaks down, blows away, and needs to be replaced every season. It's expensive, it's time-consuming, and it turns gardening into a chore instead of the peaceful natural experience it's meant to be. But nature has always had a better solution. In the wild no one spreads mulch. Forest floors and meadows stay fertile, moist, and protected all on their own. How? Through a living layer of plants that work together, feeding the soil, blocking weeds, and sheltering the roots beneath them. This is nature's original mulch, alive, self-replenishing, and endlessly beautiful. And the best part, you can recreate that same natural system right in your backyard. All it takes are 2 simple seeds. Take a walk through any forest, and you'll notice something remarkable. The ground is never bare. It's always covered with life, a tapestry of plants, moss and leaves working together in perfect balance. No one spreads wood chips, no one lays straw. Yet the soil beneath is dark, rich, and full of energy. That's because nature invented its own version of mulch, a living one. Living mulch is exactly what it sounds like, plants that act as a natural shield for your soil. They keep the ground cool in summer, warm in winter, and moist all year long. Their roots weave together like a net, holding the earth in place, and preventing erosion. Above the surface their leaves block weeds from ever taking hold. And when those leaves die back, they decompose right where they fall, feeding the soil with organic matter. No hauling, no replacement, no mess. But the real magic happens underground. Living mulch plants are constantly working, trading nutrients with the soil. Some, like clovers and legumes, fix nitrogen from the air, and turn it into food that your vegetables, flowers and fruit trees can use. Others send roots deep below the surface, breaking up hard soil, and improving drainage naturally. Together they create a living cycle, one that never stops giving back. This system doesn't just protect the soil, it transforms it. The longer it grows, the more alive your garden becomes. Earthworms return, beneficial microbes multiply, and suddenly, your plants don't just survive, they thrive. Water stays where it should, weeds disappear, and you find yourself doing less work while your garden does more on its own. And the best part, you don't need dozens of species to make this happen. There are two plants that do this job better than any mulch, any compost, and any synthetic fertilizer. Two simple seeds that once scattered create the same self-sustaining system nature perfected thousands of years ago. Let's start with the first one, the seed that builds the soil from the ground up. Seed number 1. The soil builder. Meet the quiet hero of the garden, white clover. Small, unassuming, and often overlooked as a simple weed. Yet it's one of nature's most powerful soil builders. Once you understand what it does beneath the surface, you'll never look at it the same way again. White clover forms a soft living carpet that hugs the ground and protects your soil from the sun's harsh rays. It spreads quickly, filling in bare spots where weeds would normally take root. But its true power lies underground, in the tiny nodules that grow along its roots. These nodules are home to special bacteria that capture nitrogen from the air and convert it into a form your plants can absorb. While mulch simply sits on top of the soil, clover actively feeds it. Every leaf, every root, is a slow release of fertility that enriches your entire garden bed. The transformation is remarkable. Plants growing alongside white clover become greener, stronger, and more resilient. Vegetables like tomatoes, peppers, and squash suddenly start producing more vibrant leaves and larger harvests. Not because of added fertilizer, but because the soil itself has become richer and more alive. Clover turns what was once lifeless dirt into a living ecosystem, teeming with earthworms and beneficial microbes. Planting it is beautifully simple. Scatter the seeds across bare soil in early spring or fall. Water lightly, and let nature handle the rest. In about a week, tiny green leaves will begin to appear, and within a few months you'll have a thick, self-renewing mat of clover that keeps your garden protected all year long. Once established, it reseeds itself naturally. No need to replant, no need to replace. White clover also helps with moisture control. It shades the soil to reduce evaporation, keeping your plants hydrated even through hot, dry spells. And when it rains, its dense roots hold the ground together, preventing runoff and erosion. Many gardeners notice something else: the sound of bees. Clover attracts pollinators like no other ground cover. Its small white blooms invite life back into the garden, ensuring your fruits and flowers have everything they need to flourish. In one growing season, white clover can replace an entire truckload of mulch. It's a living blanket that feeds, protects, and renews the earth below. This is nature's quiet genius at work. And it's only the first half of the secret. Because the second seed doesn't just feed the soil, it defends it. Seed number 2. The weed warrior. Now that you've met the soil builder, it's time to meet its perfect partner, creeping thyme. A plant so beautiful, so fragrant, and so powerful, that it doesn't just cover your soil, it protects it. Creeping thyme is nature's armor, a living shield that blocks weeds, deters pests, and adds a touch of color and scent no mulch could ever provide. This tiny trailing herb forms a dense mat of green leaves that stays low to the ground, hugging the soil like a protective blanket. When it blooms, your garden transforms into a soft carpet of purple and pink flowers that buzz with pollinators. Bees adore it, butterflies visit it, and even the hum of life it brings seems to add energy to your space. But beneath its delicate appearance lies serious strength. Creeping thyme is drought-tolerant, pest-resistant, and virtually indestructible once it's established. What makes it so powerful is its natural ability to outcompete weeds. Its thick root system spreads quickly, leaving no room for unwanted plants to take hold. And the aromatic oils that give thyme its famous scent also work as a natural pest deterrent. Ants, mosquitoes, and even deer prefer to stay far away. Every step you take across it releases more of that earthy herbal fragrance, a scent that says this garden takes care of itself. Creeping thyme is also a perennial, which means it comes back year after year without replanting. It loves full sun, thrives in poor soil, and asks for almost nothing in return. You can scatter the seeds over loosened soil, press them gently into place, and keep them moist for a couple of weeks. Once they sprout, you'll have a living mulch that never needs replacement, and never fades with the seasons. It's especially beautiful when planted between stepping stones, under fruit trees, or around raised garden beds. The more it spreads, the more it transforms your garden into a place that feels timeless. A place where nature and nurture are perfectly balanced. And here's the best part. When you combine creeping thyme with white clover, you create the ultimate partnership. One plant building and feeding the soil from beneath, the other protecting it from above. Together they form a living ecosystem that does what mulch never could. Let's see how to bring these two powerful plants together to create a garden that maintains itself. Now that you know the secret power behind white clover and creeping thyme, let's bring them together. When planted side by side, these two humble plants create a living system that works in harmony, one feeding the soil, the other defending it. The result is a self-sustaining garden floor that stays green, fertile, and protected through every season. Start by preparing your garden bed. Clear away any old mulch, weeds or debris so the seeds can make direct contact with the soil. You don't need to till deeply, just loosen the top few inches so air and moisture can move freely. Then mix your two seeds together. A simple ratio works best. 1 part white clover seed to 1 part creeping thyme seed. This balance allows the clover to spread evenly, while the thyme forms a fragrant barrier across the surface. Scatter the mixture gently across the soil. Think of it as seasoning the earth, light, even and natural. Don't bury the seeds. They need sunlight to germinate. A light press with your hand, or the back of a rake is enough to help them settle. Then give the area a soft mist of water every day until you start to see sprouts. Within a week, small clover leaves and delicate thyme shoots will begin to emerge, painting your garden bed in shades of green. As they grow, you'll see how beautifully they complement each other. The clover's deep green leaves enrich the soil below, fixing nitrogen and improving fertility. Meanwhile, the thyme spreads across the surface, keeping weeds out and releasing its calming scent whenever the wind moves through it. Together they regulate temperature, retain moisture, and attract beneficial insects, bees, butterflies, and even predatory bugs that keep pests under control. Maintenance couldn't be easier. Once established, these plants largely take care of themselves. A light trimming once or twice a year keeps everything tidy and encourages fresh growth. In dry spells, their intertwined roots lock in water, reducing the need for constant watering. Through rain, drought, or cold, they stand strong, continuing their quiet work of healing and protecting the soil. Over time, this living layer becomes a complete ecosystem. You'll notice your garden feeling different, more vibrant, more alive. The soil grows richer, the plants look healthier, and the need for mulch, fertilizers, or constant weeding simply fades away. By combining white clover and creeping thyme, you're not just saving effort, you're creating balance. You're building a garden that thrives by the same principles that keep forests and meadows flourishing without human help. This is nature's design, simple, enduring, and timeless. Next, let's look at what happens when your garden begins to transform. When the soil, plants, and life beneath it start working together as one. When you step into a garden that takes care of itself, you can feel the difference instantly. The air feels softer, the soil cooler beneath your feet. Every plant seems stronger, more confident, as if it's found its rhythm with the earth. The hum of bees replaces the buzz of garden tools, and you realize this isn't just a garden anymore. It's an ecosystem. The moment you stop fighting nature and start working with it, everything begins to change. Your soil, once dry and lifeless, becomes rich and full of movement. The roots of clover and thyme weave together, forming a living network that holds water, traps nutrients, and keeps the earth alive. Rain doesn't run off anymore. It soaks in. Weeds don't invade. They're blocked by a carpet of green. Even pests, once a constant struggle, begin to balance out as beneficial insects find a home among the blooms. This transformation doesn't happen overnight, but when it does, it feels almost magical. You start to see your garden not as something to control, but something to nurture, a space that grows in harmony with the seasons. You spend less time tending and more time admiring. You watch flowers bloom earlier, vegetables thrive longer, and soil stay soft even through dry months. And beyond all the beauty, there's something deeply peaceful about knowing you've built this balance with your own hands. not by adding more but by letting go. By trusting two tiny seeds to do what nature designed them to do. This is the future of gardening. One that's sustainable, effortless, and alive. A future where your garden becomes its own caretaker, thriving year after year without endless bags of mulch or hours of labor. Just life, renewing itself again and again. So the next time you look at that bare patch of soil, or think about spreading another layer of mulch, remember this: nature already gave us the answer. All you have to do is scatter two small seeds, and let the garden show you what it can do. So there you have it. The two seeds that can replace mulch forever. White clover, the soil builder, and creeping thyme, the weed warrior. Together they transform your garden into a living, self-sustaining masterpiece that feeds itself, protects itself, and grows more beautiful with time. If you're ready to stop fighting your garden and start growing with nature, give this video a thumbs up and share it with a fellow gardener who needs to hear this. Don't forget to subscribe to Timeless Gardening for more simple, natural ways to create beauty that lasts through every season. Until next time, step outside, breathe deep, and remember, the best gardens aren't built by hard work alone. They're built by harmony with nature.